Very good evening, everyone. And this is Sanjay Sinha from Aurora International School, and a very hearty welcome to everyone to Aurora online classes. Dear students, once again I am back and I am with the same lesson, the same chapter, The Adventures of Toto, and I'll continue the same chapter today too. In my previous class, as I taught you earlier, that this is a story about the mischiefs of Toto. And Toto was a naughty monkey. It was very small, very cute, but very naughty too. Because actually we all know that a monkey is naughty, a monkey is mischievous by nature. But the writer's grandfather was very fond of animals. He was so fond of animals, he liked the animals and birds so much that wherever or whenever he found any new bird or any new animal, he would add that particular animal or bird to his collection of animals, and he had a private zoo in his house where different kinds of animals were kept, and these all animals were confined to the zoo. They had no liberty, so all the animals were inmates of the zoo. Now we have already seen that when Toto was brought home and his presence was kept a secret from the narrator's grandmother, and initially in the beginning Toto was kept in the bedroom wall in a almirah or in a cupboard, or you can say a closet. So he was tied to a peg. This Toto was tied to a peg. Peg means nail, khuti. So it was tied to a peg in the closet, and after some time, both grandfather and the writer himself came to check on Toto. In fact, they came to check whether Toto is behaving properly or not, whether Toto is feeling comfortable or not. Actually, he was tied to a peg, so he was confined, he was not free at all. So after some time, grandfather came to release Toto, came to set Toto free. But when he came to see the activities of Toto, or you can say when he came to set Toto free, he found that everything was in a chaotic condition. Everything had got messed up. Everything in the room was damaged by Toto. So what did Toto do actually? Toto, as I said earlier, that it's a monkey, it's a small monkey, and its hands were dried up just for the exposure to the sun, as if that the hands were in the sun, the hands remain in the sun for a long time. Then his teeth were pearly white, means his teeth looked like pearls, moti ki tarah. And there was mischief in his eyes, there was mischief in his eyes. So his eyes were filled with mischief, sararat se bhara hua in Hindi. I mean to say, this was the description of Toto. Now what happened? Everything was damaged by Toto because the bedroom wall. Suppose this is a wall, and suppose that this is the wall, this is the bedroom of the writer, and the writer had pasted ornamental papers, very beautiful papers on the wall, as we have so many pictures or pictures of different gods and goddesses are pasted on the wall to give a beautiful look to the wall. So similarly, the narrator had also pasted fine, beautiful pictures, decorative pictures on the wall. In fact, when grandfather came back, he was shocked. He was shocked and surprised to see the activities of Toto, because Toto had damaged everything. He had peeled off. He had peeled off the ornamental papers, decorative papers pasted on the wall. Then he had also torn off the narrator's blazer into pieces. That is called shred. There is a word shred. S-H-R-E-D. Shred means torn into pieces. Shred. So actually, the narrator's blazer was torn into pieces, or to cut into slices also. टुकड़े टुकड़े कर देना, और in Hindi चित्रा बना देना, like that. So it was like that. Then what happened afterwards? Let us come and let us read further and come to know. A few, I have taught it. I wondered what grandmother would say, but grandfather didn't worry. He seemed pleased with Toto's performance. Underline it. Actually, grandfather was very happy. He did not get annoyed. Annoyed means to get angry. Gussa ho jana in Hindi. So actually, grandfather was he was very pleased. He was very glad to see Toto's performance. And what was Toto's performance? He had damaged everything. He had torn the ornamental papers pasted on the wall. Then he had also pulled out the peg to which he was tied, and he had also torn off the narrator's blazer. So this was Toto's tricks, or this was Toto's performance. Grandfather was pleased because grandfather loved Toto very much, and if you love someone, you can't see his or her defects, you can't see his or her demerits. So the same was with grandfather. So he was very happy to see Toto's performance, Toto's activities. What does he conclude? He says that he is clever, said grandfather. Given time, I am sure he could have tied the torn pieces off. This is thread. Torn pieces of your blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window. This is what the grandfather said, that, oh, Toto, he was very happy to see the performance of Toto and said, this Toto is really very clever. If this little monkey, if Toto would have given time, if Toto had been given time, given sufficient time, this Toto had made the torn pieces of your blazer, this Toto had made a rope of the torn pieces of your blazer to escape through the window. This is what grandfather said. Try to understand. Grandfather, actually, he was very pleased, so he was not worried at all, and he said that, see my child, he said to the narrator, if this Toto had been given adequate time, sufficient time, this Toto would have made a rope of the torn pieces of blazer to escape through this window. He is so clever. His presence in the house is still a secret. It was still unknown to the grandmother. Toto was now transferred to a big cage in the servants' quarters, where a number of grandfather's pets lived very sociably together. Underline it. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and for a while my pet goat. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companions to sleep at night. So grandfather, who had to leave Dehradun next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur, decided to take him along. What happened? Actually, his presence, means Toto's presence, was still unknown to grandmother. Only grandfather and the writer himself knew about the presence of Toto. And actually, now Toto was transferred, Toto was shifted to a big cage in the servants' quarter, where there was a garden, not garden, there was a private zoo. There was a private zoo of the grandfather. In fact, grandfather was a lover of animals, so he kept many pets like tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, gilhari I mean to say, and also a pet goat. So different kinds of animals were kept in the private zoo of the grandfather, and it was near the servants' quarter. So next day what happened, grandfather shifted Toto because he was aware of he knew the mischievous activities of Toto because he had damaged everything. So second day the grandfather shifted Toto to the private zoo, and this private zoo was also full of the animals like a pair of rabbits, then tortoise, then goat, then a squirrel. These animals were there in the private zoo. And actually what happened, Toto was different from those animals in the zoo. So who were the inmates of? Inmates means they were living in the zoo. The inmates of the zoo, I would say inmates. There is a word inmate. INMATES. The animals who lived in the private zoo of the grandfather, they were called inmates. They were confined to the private zoo of the grandfather, so they were living. But actually Toto was a big nuisance for them because Toto was a problem monger, and he always created problems for them. He always made them unhappy. He disturbed them. He did not allow them to sleep. He did not allow them to take rest. All night he kept all the animals in the private zoo disturbing. So he kept all the animals in the private zoo. Nice. It won't be nice for him to leave Toto in the private zoo. That is why grandfather decided to carry this Toto along with him to Saharanpur. And why was grandfather going to Saharanpur? Grandfather was going to Saharanpur to collect his money, to collect his pension. Pension is the amount of money that one gets after retirement from his service. So he was retired from his services. Grandfather was retired from his services. He was a retired man, and he was going to collect his pension to Saharanpur. Now this Saharanpur episode, let us talk about it. What did he do? So till now we have come to know that grandfather had decided to carry Toto along with him to Saharanpur because he had understood that it is not safe or it is not good to keep Toto isolated there. That is why he took Toto along with him to Saharanpur. Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on that trip, but he told me about it afterwards. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. Underline it. What did he choose? He took a canvas bag, kit bag. So a big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. This, with some straw at the bottom, became his new abode. Abode means home. The word abode, A-B-O-D-E, abode means home. So grandfather decided to take Toto along with him to Saharanpur, and he was going to Saharanpur to collect his pension from there. So actually he took some precautions, so that grandfather took some precautions, made some arrangements to carry Toto along with him. And what was that? What was the precautions? What did he do? Actually, what did he do? That this Toto was put inside a big black canvas kit bag from which he could not escape. So what did he do? He put Toto inside a big black canvas kit bag, and this canvas kit bag was very strong. It was so strong that Toto could not come out from there. So grandfather thought it to be safe, or grandfather thought it would be safer to carry Toto along with him in such a in such a big black canvas kit bag. So Toto was put in the black canvas kit bag, and at the bottom of the kit bag he put some straw. He put some straw, and now during the trip to Saharanpur, that that canvas kit bag was his abode. It was his new abode. It was his new home. So he was put inside the kit bag. He was put inside the kit bag, and from where he could not escape when it closed. So when the bag was closed, when the zip of the bag was closed, there was no escape. He could not escape from there. Toto could not get his hands through the opening. He couldn't come out, and the canvas was too strong for him to bite his way through. Actually, he couldn't escape through the canvas because it was too strong to bite. Means Toto was not able to bite it or bite that strong canvas kit bag. So he put the monkey into that kit bag, black, and you know it is made of canvas, and it's very tight, it is very strong. So he couldn't escape through that bag when closed. So he carried it. So this is the precaution that grandfather took in order to carry Toto along with him. Now, his efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the air, an exhibition that attracted a curious crowd of onlookers on the Dehradun railway platform. Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur, but while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile means a mechanical gate, Toto suddenly poked his head out, means peeped out. झांक कर देखना in Hindi, peep out, P-E-E-P-O-U-T, peep out his head out of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. There is a word grin, G-R-I-N, grin means a smile. What happened? Actually Toto was trying his level best. He tried his hard to come out, because Toto was very lively, very playful, and he could not remain at a place. He was feeling uncomfortable while kept in the kit bag. So he was trying to come out, and grandfather was going to Saharanpur. Everything was okay till Saharanpur. But and one more thing, actually this Toto tried his every possible trick to come out of the bag. He tried to peep out of the bag, and till Saharanpur everything was okay. But when grandfather came to the railway station, and when he was passing through the mechanical gate that is called turnstile, only through this mechanical gate, see the image of this mechanical gate, this is called turnstile. You may find such a turnstile at railway station and at airport too. And through this turnstile, only one this turnstile allows only one man to pass through. So this is a turnstile. So there was a collector, ticket collector was there, and he was hanging the bag down, and his bag was hanging from his shoulder, and Toto was inside his bag, canvas kit bag. So what happened at that time? Actually, there was something strange, and this Toto attracted the attention of the people on the platform. Actually, it was kept inside the bag, and people were around grandfather on the platform. It is quite natural for everyone. It is quite natural to have a crowd on the platform. So grandfather was there, and sometimes this bag used to jump up, sometimes this bag used to spring up, and the springing of this bag attracted the attention of the people. People were very curious to know exactly what was there inside the bag and why is this bag jumping in the air. Actually, you can better understand the bag was jumping just because of the presence of Toto inside the bag. Toto was inside the bag and Toto was restless. Toto was trying hard to come out of the bag. So sometimes this bag, this canvas bag used to jump, used to spring in air. Number one. Number two, sometimes the bag used to roll on the floor. So people were very curious. They wanted to know, and they wanted to know exactly what is happening there or exactly what is inside the canvas kit bag. So it attracted the attention of the people. Now this was the ticket collector over there, and now the ticket collector was just standing there, and he was passing, he was trying to, I mean grandfather was also standing beside the ticket collector. Then ticket collector saw it. Ticket collector saw it. Saw it means the ticket collector saw Toto. Actually, suddenly what happened? Toto pipped out his head. Toto pipped out of his head of the bag. He pipped out of the head, and as soon as Toto pipped out, means as soon as Toto took out his head of took his head out of the bag, Titi saw it, and when Titi saw it, this Toto gave a smile at him, means this Toto smiled at the ticket collector. And now this was a problem, this was another problem. Actually before that everything was okay, but now it created a problem. And what was the problem? Please have a look here. The poor man was taken aback. The poor man here is ticket collector, Titi. So the poor man was taken aback. Taken aback means shocked. The poor man was shocked. The poor man refers to Titi, ticket collector, TC. So the poor man was taken aback. Taken aback is a phrase which means shocked. So the Titi was shocked, but with a great presence of mind and much to grandfather's annoyance, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you. You'll have to pay for it accordingly." Now, was grandfather carrying a dog with him, or had grandfather kept a dog inside the bag? No, not at all. Actually, there was no dog with him, and the grandfather had not kept any dog in his bag. Then what was it? It was Toto. A monkey was there, and this monkey was very naughty. So he charged, the TC charged him some fine. Now grandfather got angry. In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. Actually, the TC said, "Grandfather, sir, you are carrying a dog, and since you are carrying a dog, you will have to pay a fine for it. You will have to pay a fine for it. Since you are carrying a dog with you, so you have to pay a fine for it, because it's a dog." Then grandfather got angry. Well, how is it possible? I am carrying a monkey, I am carrying Toto in my bag, and this is not a dog, it's a monkey. Why don't you understand? So, "Sir, you have a dog with you, you'll have to pay for it accordingly." In vain did grandfather take Toto out of the bag. In vain did he try to prove that a monkey did not qualify as a dog, underline it, or even as a quadruped. Quadruped means an animal with four legs. An animal with four legs means an animal who is having four legs is called a quadruped. Quadruped means four-legged animal. Quadruped means four. You are four-legged, a four-footed animal. So the grandfather was very angry with the TC. He said, this is a monkey, and this is not a quadruped. This is not a four-footed animal. This is not a dog. And you are saying that this is a dog, and you are also charging a fine for it. So Toto was classified a dog by the TC, and he charged, means the TC charged 3 rupees was the sum handed over as a fare Fare means ticket price. In Hindi, bhada. So, as his fare, underline it. So he charged, the ticket collector charged 3 rupees for Toto. Even though Toto was not a dog. Even though Toto was not a dog, ticket collector charged 3 rupees for Toto because he was carrying Toto. And grandfather tried his hard to convince the TC, convince the ticket collector that it's not a dog, it's a monkey. But the TC was not in a position to listen to the grandfather, and he fined him 3 rupees. And grandfather had to give 3 rupees as a fine. Then grandfather got very angry. It's how stupid this TC is. This TC is very stupid. This ticket collector is very stupid. He doesn't understand the difference between a monkey and a dog, and he is saying that I am carrying a dog. The reality was that grandfather was carrying a monkey, and even that monkey was very small. Though Toto was very naughty, so he got very angry. Then grandfather, just to get his own back, it's a phrase, get his own back. Get his own back means to take a revenge. In Hindi, badla lena, to take revenge. To get own back means to take revenge. Badla lena. In Hindi, to take revenge. Actually, grandfather wanted to teach him a lesson. He got very angry because the TC was not convinced that grandfather was carrying a monkey rather than a dog. It was not a dog, he was carrying a monkey, and the ticket collector charged him 3 rupees for Toto. All his efforts, even though grandfather tried to make him understand, tried to convince him with the fact that this is not a dog, this is a monkey, but the ticket collector did not listen to him. So grandfather was very angry and he wanted to get his own back, means he wanted to take a revenge. So what did he do? Took from his pocket our pet tortoise and said, what must I pay for this, since you charge for all animals? Said then and there, what did he do? He was also carrying a tortoise, kachua. So he was also carrying a tortoise inside his pocket. So then and there he was very angry and he took the tortoise out of his pocket and said, how much should I give as a fine for this tortoise? Because he told to the TC, he told to the ticket collector, gentleman, since you are charging money for all the animals, so how much should I pay? How much fine should I pay for carrying this tortoise? Just tell me. Actually, he was very angry with the TC, means ticket collector. That's why he said that how much should I pay for this tortoise? Since you are charging money for all the animals. Now I am carrying this monkey and you are trying to prove that it is not a monkey, it is a dog. And then and there he took out a tortoise and showed to him and asked him as how much he should pay for this tortoise. Then the ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise, prodded it with his forefinger, gave grandfather a pleased and triumphed look. Triumph means victorious, jeet ki khushi, and prodded means pushed. Then when grandfather took the tortoise out of his pocket, this TC, ticket collector, prodded this like this, pushed the tortoise and said, no charge, I won't take any charge, I won't take any charge for this tortoise, because this tortoise is not a dog. I only charge for the animals like dog, and grandfather, since you are carrying a dog, it's not a monkey, it's a dog. So actually grandfather was very angry, and all these things happened, all this happened just because of the picked out his head of the bag. The ticket collector saw him and fined 3 rupees, and grandfather had to pay 3 rupees as a fine. So Thank you very much, dear students. So this is all for today, and I'll teach the rest of the things in my next class. So till now we have seen Toto's activities, Toto's mischievous activities, Toto's naughtiness at Saharanpur, and as a result of which grandfather had to pay a fine of 3 rupees charged by the ticket collector. You know, grandfather was fond of animals. He had his private zoo at home where where different sorts of animals like pair of rabbits, squirrel, tortoise, then also goat, these kinds of animals were kept in the zoo. Thank you very much. This is all for today.